Hey everybody, welcome into Faith and Football. My name is Neil. I know I'm running a little late this week. Sorry. Look, it's been a crazy day. I'll explain it a little bit later. But let's dive into the scripture of the day. And guys, look, up until election day, I might have a little bit of a governmental, what does God say and that kind of thing go theme working through here. It's just something that's been speaking to me as of late. Um, you guys, I talked about it last episode. I asked you to please exercise your right, go out and vote. Make sure that you make your voice heard, especially if you were a believer. This is no more important now than it has ever been that we make our voices heard for those candidates that we have done the research that we feel match up with what God says and with what is on our hearts to get in office to make this country better than it has ever been before. So let's dive in. I was listening just I believe it was yesterday. Um, God was God was talking to me. Not gonna lie. Um, actually, I take it back. It was this morning. So I got a late word in the week for this episode. Um, it was from Pastor Stephen Furtick of Elevation Church. I tagged them in all of my descriptions. So if you want to go check him out on YouTube, just look up Stephen Furtick. If you need a link, I would put it down below for the YouTube, as well as a hashtag in the description of all my videos, along with Michael Todd from Transformation Church and Jesse Duplantis Ministries. It's JDM in the description below. He's with Covenant Church here in Louisiana, out in New Orleans. Those are the three YouTube pastors that I follow the most. And these guys have meant a lot in my walk with the Lord. So I was listening to Stephen Furtick, and he was talking about the hand of God. This the same hand that does this puts his hand on you. I got a different word, but it was from the scripture that he brought in that video. I encourage you, go and listen. The name of the message is called "The Other Hand," so check that out if you're interested. Again, link down below. Check it out on YouTube. But he was using Exodus chapter 3, verse 19, and I'm going to read you 19 through 20 in the English Standard Version, the ESV. It says, "But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless compelled by a mighty hand." Now I'm going to pause there for just a second. And, you look at that and okay, God's letting Moses know that he understands that the Israelites are not going to be let go easily. There's going to need some work to be done in order to persuade the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, to release the chosen people of God. So, what I want to bring to your attention here, and this is why I love, uh, being involved in church and having brothers in Christ that I can lean on, that I can learn from. One of the Bible studies that I was in, it was teaching you how to study your Bible. And I want to break it down to a little verse that says, "But I know that the king of Egypt." Now, the Bible doesn't make mistakes, and everything in it is from God, it's of God, it's Him speaking to us. And if He puts something in there, there's a reason. So when it says the king of Egypt, I found that interesting that the king of all kings, the Lord of all lords, recognized the status of an earthly king. Like he could have just said Pharaoh. He could have just said the captors of my people Israel, the captives of the Israelites. He could have used anything to communicate who he was going to have to persuade to let his people go. But he specifically recognized the authority that was governing the people, his people, at that time. So, with this election coming up, I want us to remember that while we still need to, you know, not necessarily bow to the government, but when we have to recognize the authority that is governing us, it is not superseded by the power that guides us. So the power that guides us is not the power that is governing our day-to-day life. Like the the government is responsible for the laws and the enforcement and all that stuff for our day-to-day life. And we have to abide by that. As Christians, we are told to respect government. We don't have to like it. We don't even have to agree with it, but we have to respect it. We have to honor the emperor. That's what I said in the last episode. If you want to go back and check that out. But I found it interesting that God recognized the kingship of an earthly ruler. Now, he said, go a little bit further with me. You will not let you go unless compelled by a mighty hand. Verse 20. So I will stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with all the wonders that I will do in it. After that, he will let you go. So God's letting them know that, yes, there is a king that they are answering to right now. But my hand, my will, my direction supersedes all of that. And I will take care of it. See, we don't have to worry about the direction that the country is going when God puts his hand on it. God's going to put his hand on it. He's going to put the people in office that he wants in office for that time. Now, not saying that we don't have a responsibility to take part in who goes in, because God works through people. My wife has some health issues, and we're not one of those who's like, well, God's going to heal everything. Look, sometimes God works through people, and God gives people talent and understanding that is beyond us at times. So he gives knowledge and understanding to the doctors to know what combination of medication makes us feel better, makes us take care of ourselves, and makes all the illnesses go away. So that's God working through other people. The same reason why you're listening to this channel, you're listening to me talk about fantasy football, but also bring you a word from God. And like, you don't have to be watching this. There's other channels that you could be checking out, but I appreciate you listening to this and allowing God to speak through me to you. And I'm praying that this scripture grabs a hold of you and lets you know that regardless of who is in office, regardless of who's making these laws, regardless of who wins November 5th, when you go to vote on Tuesday, even maybe you've early voted, but regardless of the results, that the guiding hand in your life is not the government, it's God. So make sure that you're keeping that in perspective, that just because we have to listen to, we have to respect, we have to abide by the laws of the land, that the one and only creator of the universe is guiding all of that. So keep that in mind. And remember, he's not just stretching out his hand back in the day in Egypt with the Israelites. He's stretching out his hand today on you, wherever you're at. I ask that you reach out, that you grab hold of that hand and let him lead you where you need to be. So I hope that hits you. I hope that helps you. As always, down below, subscribe, like, share, drop me a comment. Let me know some things maybe you're going through, whether it is fantasy football related or not. Look, I got 2 ears and I got time. So hit me up down below and we'll walk through stuff together, guys. I'm here for y'all. Um, that's what guys put on my heart. So come on down and give me a shout, give me a challenge. Um, Great book by Jesse Duplantis, Give God a Job. Uh, if you haven't heard about it, please go check it out. It is an awesome book. We just got our copy today. I've heard some of the message that is attached to it in previous videos that I've watched from him. Outstanding. Look, if you don't get pumped up by listening to Jesse or Steve Furtick or Michael Todd, guys, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know. Look, you don't believe me? Go check these guys out. They are absolutely phenomenal pastors and men of God. So go check them out, guys, please. Um, but time to get into week 9. And like I said, I apologize for the late start. Look, Thursday night we had a game in the first half. Look, this was an absolute mess. Okay. I thought that this was going to be, basically like the water boy at halftime. Matter of fact, I sent a meme in the league chat. I was looking for a specific one. I couldn't find it, but the part where Henry Winkler is in the locker room at halftime going, anybody got any ideas? That's what I envisioned for the Jets at halftime because they just looked inept when it came to playing football. It was bad first half. Then they come out in the second half, and oh my goodness, apparently they remembered how to play and they remember that Aaron Rodgers is a pretty decent quarterback and he's got two really good weapons at receiver. And oh my goodness, he's actually got a decent running back. So thank God for the Jets defense that kept them in this game. And God be with CJ Stroud because that offensive line was horrific on Thursday night. How they're blocking for Joe Mixon and not pass protecting for CJ Stroud is beyond me. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but I did. At one point, I don't remember what CJ Stroud's in stat line was, but at one point he had like 164 yards and 120 of them belonged to Tank Dell. So he had a really bad outing as a quarterback, but Tank Dell was awesome. And I just traded for him. So I was pumped about it. And I was actually going back and forth between him and Amari Cooper. Um, as it stands right now, I'm extremely happy that I started Tank Dell. But I'll keep you guys updated as to how my fantasy week turns out. I'm facing my boy, Dusty Shores. And while I'm talking about Dusty Shores, you guys know he is my sweetest sponsor. Him and his family down at Keller's Bakery in Youngsville, 627 Lafayette Street. Go down there, check them out, guys. We are in November. We are literally weeks away from Thanksgiving. If you were in the Lafayette, Louisiana area, in the Youngsville, Louisiana area, go down to Keller's Bakery at 627 Lafayette Street and get a pie for Thanksgiving. I've already got mine. We got the lemon meringue coming and we got the pecan pie as tradition dictates. So go down there, check them out. And if you show that you are a subscriber to this channel, Faith in Football, they will give you not one, but two free cookies on me from them. Check them out. No purchase necessary. You just want to go down there and peruse, go down and see what they got, see how it smells. Look, you can do that and you can have it in your mind that all you want is the free cookies. But I guarantee you, once you get down there, you buying something because they are just outstanding in everything that they do. King cakes, yes, they have king cakes out of season. They will hook you up with a variety of king cake flavors. Just go down there and check them out, along with the pies, the cakes, the donuts, whatever you need. If you got a birthday coming up, look, some of you are like my cousin Amy was born in like really, really close to December, like Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve baby, Christmas baby, Thanksgiving Day baby. Wherever your birthday falls, they will hook you up with a delicious birthday cake. Go down there, check them out. 627 Lafayette Street, Youngsville, Louisiana. Give them a call. It is Tuesday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. is when they're open, and they will be glad to hook you guys up with the 2 free cookies and whatever else your little heart desires. So make sure you go down there and check them out. Now I'm going to hit my other sponsor, since I just took a drink, you guys saw, before we get into the week 9 buys. And I'm going to talk about week 12 as well. But before I talk about that, I gotta give a shout out to my people at Zia Rotisserie Grill. Please go down there and check them out at 235 Duce Road in Lafayette, Louisiana. It's right off Johnson Street behind the Grand Theater in front of Red Laurel's Health Club. If you go down and you check them out for dinner, for lunch, whatever the case may be, and you show them that you subscribe to this channel, you will get a free appetizer for the table on me. Guys, they just got the Kung Pao cauliflower. Look, I know trying to eat a little healthier. It's you're gonna be packing on the carbs and stuff for Thanksgiving, for the holidays. You got holiday parties coming up. Look, go down there, check out the Kung Pao cauliflower. Look, maybe you could care less about carbs. I know I do. Like if you saw from here down, I got the dad bod going on. But if you want some ribs on me, they have a rib appetizer that is included in this promotion. 6 count, 4 count, either one for the table. Check them out. Maybe you've never tried them before. The Thai ribs are delicious. You want to go more traditional? Cool. They got barbecue. They've got dry ribs. And we just introduced the Louisiana barbecue sauce for the rotisserie chicken. Look, you want to give it a whirl? Ask them to put it on some ribs. They can do that. It's not a problem. You want something a little more non-traditional? Look, the Mediterranean hummus, take it from my production team, aka my wife. It is absolutely phenomenal. Go down there. That is included as well. So go down to 235 Duce Road, Lafayette, Louisiana. Show them that you were subscribed to this channel, and they will hook you up with a free appetizer of your choice. Also, if you are planning a Christmas party of any kind, make sure you call them up. Get your reservation made today for your Christmas party. It is 337-406-0013. Ask to speak to Andy, and they will hook you up with whatever catering, whatever party that you need, whether it is on site at the restaurant in their VIP back room, or whether it's in your place. You want to hook your office up, go down there, give them a call, and make all the arrangements with Andy at 337-406-0013, and tell him that Neil from Faith in Football sent you. Appreciate it, guys. So, week 9, bye week. Steelers, Niners. So you guys got George Pickens, Pat Frymouth, Russell Wilson, Najee Harris. Those guys, you can't have them this week. Sorry. Now, good news for CMC owners. CMC is supposed to be ramping up for a week 10 return. So please make sure you are keeping an eye out on all of the practice reports coming out for not this week, but leading up to week 10. So they'll be definitely keeping an eye out on that. As a Jordan Mason owner, I am definitely keeping my eyes glued to the injury reports for the 49ers. Hopefully, this will give Jordan Mason time to heal up. And if, God forbid, anything happened to CMC, Jordan Mason can step right into that role. Now, Isaac Guerrero, guys, he's on bye this week. My recommendation is this: wait until the game starts for whoever you're going to drop, then drop them, pick up Guerrero, and you will be locked. You should, depending upon your league rules, be locked into having Guerrero on your team prior to waivers. Because he's on a bye, he will not be on waivers. He will be able to be picked up Sunday. So Sunday morning, make sure you get to the waiver wire, go pick him up, stash him on your bench if you've got room. This is one of those kind of backdoor type things that not a lot of people think about, but the rest of the year, if something happens to Mason, God forbid, if something happened to CMC again, Isaac Guerrero has already shown that he can shoulder that load in San Francisco. And look, anybody in a Kyle Shanahan run offense at running back is fantasy gold down the stretch. So make sure that you're making moves, all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to mention week 12 just so you guys can go ahead and kind of look ahead and hopefully make some adjustments if you need to. So, by week 12, this is by apocalypse. This is the first of two in 3 weeks. Yeah, week 12 and week 14. So, week 12, bye week. The Bills, the Saints, the Falcons, the Jets, the Jags, and the Bengals. Guys, that's a lot of talent in fantasy football not available. Make sure that you're scrolling ahead in your app to see who you're playing that week. I know normally I don't tell you to look that far ahead and make plans that far ahead, but it is something you've got to be aware of. So let's get into sits. Yes, I'm switching it up a little bit, so bear with me, all right? I'm going sits instead of starts this week. Just because I want to try to end on a high note, okay? So, sit of the week at quarterback. Now, if I was able to get this out prior to Thursday, and I did tell you guys I would explain. So, I woke up this morning. I was going to do the show this morning. Woke up to a flat tire. Then had to run, go take care of that. Had to do an errand at Walmart. So, we're here. Okay, wasn't planning on a spare tire on a flat tire this morning. And full disclosure, if I had to listen to my wife yesterday when I had a low tire sensor and take care of it then you guys would have been getting this a lot sooner. So sorry, forgive me. But anyway, my sit, if I had gotten this show out prior to Thursday, definitely would have been CJ Stroud. But it was the Jets, guys. If you guys don't know that the Jets are just a shutdown defense right now, I don't know what to tell you. Like there was definitely you had options. Okay. Big news. I'm going to cover real quick before we get into the sits. Joe Flacco is. Yeah, I know you probably already heard, but Joe Flacco is the starting quarterback from now until the end of the season, barring injury, for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, what does that do for fantasy? With the exception, I would say, of this week, because they've got a really tough matchup against Minnesota. But for the rest of the season, Josh Downs, even Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, guys, if you've got any of these people, please plug them into your lineup. Maybe flex Alex Pierce or bench him and keep an eye on him and see how things go. But definitely, please at least roster Alex Pierce in case anything happens to Michael Pittman, Josh Downs. He automatically steps into a wide receiver 2 at worst role. So something to keep an eye on there. Now, unfortunately for anyone owning a Carolina receiver, Carolina is going back to Bryce Young. Not something that we want to hear, not something that we want to deal with, but hey, guys, you got to deal with some bumps in the road on the way to the championship. All right. So, sit of the week is Kyler Murray versus the Bears, who are allowing 12.5 points to the position on the year. Now, I know Kyler did really good last week on a really tough matchup. Guys, y'all know that my boy Jaden Daniels, like, I'm loving him. But if you take away that just God answered prayer, Hail Mary, that he threw up against the Bears, they kind of kept him in check. I mean, if it wasn't for that, he would not have had a good outing and Washington would have lost. So I'm telling you right now, don't sleep on the Bears defense. Their pass defense is locked down. Their rushing defense, however, is off the chart. So you guys know, look, when I do my start sets, I'm not, when I do my sets, I'm giving you guys big names to be aware of. Am I thinking that you're going to sit Kyler Murray if that's your best option? No, of course not. But if you got better options, better matchup, play the matchup. Okay. Don't just rely on the name and last week's performance to influence you that much. Look at who these guys are playing. Case in point, number one quarterback in fantasy right now, Baker Mayfield, going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a 16.6 points per game defense. Guys, I don't know about you, but I'm not expecting 16 points when I start Baker Mayfield. If I'm starting Baker Mayfield, I'm looking at 20, 25, 30 points on a regular. That's what we've gotten out of Baker Mayfield. So going up against a defense like this that also has an offense that's winning really ugly and kind of has slowed down the pace of play, guys, this isn't the Kansas City Chiefs from a couple years back that are just blowing teams out or running up the score or putting up 40, 50 points. These guys are winning with under 20 points a game. Like, Patrick Mahomes is a streaming option right now. That's crazy to think about. They're keeping quarterbacks. It's a 16.6 points per game. Guys, that is not what you want for your late season push into the playoffs. If you've got a better option at quarterback, and you probably do, because I doubt you drafted Baker Mayfield to be your starting quarterback. So there's probably somebody out there. If Matthew Stafford is out there, please go pick him up and start him this week. He's got Cup back. Now, Puka, go check the injury report because he popped up with a late week practice injury with his knee. So make sure you're checking out if you own Puka. Look, that means that Cooper Cup is in, John Whittington in. So check out the options in LA with the Rams. Now, another sit. Look, I know you guys were waiting for this guy to come off of IR and just save your running back room, but Nick Chubb versus the Chargers, who are allowing 15.9 points to the position. And remember, when I give you guys these points, when they're running back or wide receiver, running back, you're going to divide by 2, and wide receiver, you're going to divide by 3. Okay. Because that's usually how many wide receivers they have. So, Nick Chubb versus the Chargers, please sit him down. He's just coming off an injury. This is only a second game back. They're just ramping him up, and they're probably monitoring his workload as it is anyway. So just pump the brakes on Nick Chubb for this week. Javonte Williams. Look, I know Javonte has been doing absolutely phenomenal, but he's going up against the Ravens, who are allowing 17.9 points to the position. And I'm telling you guys, you can do all kinds of things to the Ravens. What you can't do is run on them. You can pass. If you guys saw the Washington game and even the game this past week, you can pass on the Ravens. Their secondary is trash, but their run stopping ability is top notch. Now, in the wide receiver, again with the Ravens, they're going up against Denver. Zay Flowers, sit him down. Okay. They just traded for Deontay Johnson, so he's going to be eating into Zay Flowers' production. Rashad Bateman also has been coming on, so he's going to be eating into that production. And he's going up against Denver, who's allowing 20.8 points per game, which is the worst to go up against in the NFL. Denver has just been on point when it comes to defense. Sean Payton has these guys playing on another level. The youth on the offense is just driving this forward. This is probably going to be a shootout between Bo Nix and Lamar Jackson. I love my mute button. Not gonna lie. So Marvin Harrison Jr. Look, I know that last week anybody who owned Marvin Harrison Jr., who I used to until I traded him, was given a glimpse as to what could happen between him and Kyler Murray. Again, Kyler Murray and he are going up against the Bears. The Bears are giving up 24.2 points to the position. Okay, guys, divide that by 3. Come on. Like, you're not going to get the production that you're looking for out of Marvin Harrison Jr. against the Bears. Okay, so pump the brakes, bring him back to earth a little bit. Let's give him another week because he's got a great schedule on tap for this end of the season. Now, starts, guys, we're going back to Denver, back to the Ravens with Bo Nix going up against the Ravens, who are giving up the second most points to the quarterback position, sitting at 23.4 points. Now, if you got Bo Nix on your team and you're starting him, congratulations, you found fantasy gold. Okay. You're probably starting him over your drafted number 1 quarterback because this matchup is absolutely awesome. Now, the only thing that I do caution you about, this is a rookie quarterback going up against Jim Harbaugh. So take that into consideration. But so it's also Sean Payton working with the guy who he handpicked to be his quarterback. So pick a side on which one you believe when you go to start Bo Nix. All right. Now, this guy just coming back off of injury, going up against probably one of the biggest jokes in the NFL right now, the Carolina Panthers, going up against the Saints, and Derek Carr is there to soak up that 21.3 points that Panthers are giving up to the position. Now, the only downside to this is that Andy Dalton isn't starting for Carolina, Bryce Young is. So because of that, the point differential could be a little skewed just for the simple fact that it's Bryce Young. Now, with that being said, guys, y'all know Derek Carr is going to chuck the ball around the field and he's going to get his points. This 21.3, mark it right now. Okay. Next up. Now, these two right here, it's basically the running back who's healthiest going up against the Patriots. So whatever Tennessee Titan running back they throw out there, that's pretty much who is going to be getting some points. Okay. They're giving up 26.1 points to the position. So I'm down with 13, 14 points to the position. Keep an eye on Tony Pollard, who is dealing with injury. Tajay Spears, who is also dealing with injury. Let me see. or third string. Let's see. Okay, so we're looking at Julian Chestnut is your third string running back. Now, I've seen this guy run before. He's a serviceable back. Okay. So if Pollard and Spears are out, which I don't think that's going to happen, but if it is, and if that's your only option, then go ahead and keep them out there against a bad Patriots run defense. Okay, guys. Um, Next up, Zach Moss versus the Raiders, giving up 23.4 points to the position. Now, keep an eye out on injury reports because it's either him or Chase Brown. So, whichever one that you have, if you believe that Chase Brown is the guy, go ahead and start him. You believe Zach Moss, as I do, is the guy. Now, I know that Zach Moss is a couple of spots lower in year to date points than Chase Brown. So going up against a Raiders team that's given up 23.4 points to the position, cool. I'm down. Now, rest of season, the Bengals are the 24th worst rest of season. So if you get a big game out of Chase Brown or Zach Moss, if you can move them for somebody better, then by all means do so. Uh, Now, who you might say, well, who's better? Who's got a better rest of the season? Tampa Bay has actually got the sixth easiest rest of season schedule for the running back position. So, I mean, you want to take a shot at Bucky Irving? You want to take a shot at Rashad White? By all means, go ahead. Next up, wide receiver. We're going again back to Mile High, back to the Ravens, giving up 38.1 points to the position. Yeah, I said that right. Now that just looked a little large to me. But anyway, yeah, 38.1 points to the position. Cortland Sutton going up against the Ravens. Now, again, if you've got Cortland Sutton, you probably drafted him late. If you were able to pair him up with Bo Nix, congratulations, you got yourself a stack. So Cortland Sutton is probably auditioning for next year. So if he gets a chance to shine, he's going to take it, especially against a team like the Ravens, who everybody's going to be watching this game. You got Jim Harbaugh, you got Sean Payton, you got the rookie Bo Nix, you got the MVP Lamar Jackson, you got Derrick Henry. I mean, what more can you ask for in this game? Now, what I will tell you guys is that I tell you what, let me finish this up with the last one. Ladd McConkey versus the Browns. Guys, if y'all didn't see the breakout last week by Ladd McConkey, you missed it. Going up against the Browns pass defense is not that great. Their run defense is much better. So this game is probably going to rely heavily on the pass. So if you got Ladd McConkey, if you're making that choice between him and somebody else, this is a great matchup for Ladd. Make sure you go ahead and take advantage of it. Now, what I was going to say previously, we're getting in a time of year where weather is going to play an extreme factor in a bunch of games. So make sure that you're looking at where teams are playing. You got teams that are going to be playing in places like Green Bay, Chicago, Buffalo. These places turn cold far faster than anywhere else in the country. So because like I'm down in South Louisiana, you don't get that cold down here. That's that quick. We'll probably be looking at like February or March before it's actually cold down here. But November, December, these are the months where the weather turns and it's going to make a drastic difference in the production for your fantasy team. Make sure that you keep an eye on that. There should be a little icon next to your matchup or next to your player, this matchup that will tell you whether they're playing in a dome, what the weather's going to be, whether it's going to be rainy or sunny or whatever. Make sure you are keeping up with that and making adjustments accordingly. If you got players that are going to be playing in the rain, like extreme rain, if you got players that are going to be playing in the snow and the cold, things like that, running backs are going to be much more productive, and wide receivers are going to take a dip in production in games like that. So make sure that you're making those adjustments as needed. Okay. It makes a difference in your flex because you might flex a running back as opposed to a wide receiver just based upon weather. So make sure you keep an eye on that moving forward. All right, guys. Now, before we sign out of here, remember, I can't go anywhere without mentioning my boy Bradley down at Amis Grocery, 603 Jefferson Street, inside of Gordon Square, downtown Lafayette, Louisiana. Guys, if you're in the downtown Louisiana area, maybe you're a little hungry during business hours, maybe you work downtown, go down and see Bradley at Amis Grocery, 603 Jefferson Street. Their menu changes daily. They got a little chalkboard out front. Check out and see what they got going on. I know on Tuesday they got a Taco Tuesday. They got a walking taco bowl that's out of this world. On top of that, they support the local community immensely. They have over 200 different local items from over 50 local vendors. So make sure you go down there and check them out. They got local farm fresh eggs. They have Wagyu beef jerky that is local. They've got uh, freeze-dried candy. You guys, if you haven't had the freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches, they are delicious. Please, if he's out, tell him to order more because I'll probably be down there tomorrow. So, but go down there and check him out. Um, he's open, I believe, 6 a.m. or no, I'm sorry, 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Call for Saturday hours. Okay. But go down there and check him out. He's got some muffalata sliders that are out of this world. They put you right in the French Quarter if you like muffaladas. They're delicious. And if you really don't want to cook tonight, go down there, check him out. He's got pre-done meals from local vendors. Guys, these are not like the old-fashioned TV dinners. They're not, Stouffer's or anything. These are like for real family style meals. Go down there, check them out. Amis Grocery, 603 Jefferson Street, inside of Gordon Square. Tell them Neil sent you. And that's about it, guys. So thank you all for tuning in. I apologize for the lateness of the episode, but keep plugging away. It doesn't matter what your record is right now, because anything can happen. Okay, trust me on this one. My league of record right now is just clustered. It's going to come down to points to get you into the playoffs, but we're making that playoff push. We're going to defend this title to the last, to the hilt, and keep it in-house if it's God's will. So, guys, remember, pray on your team. I'm not joking. Pray on your fantasy team. And remember, work out that faith muscle, okay? Start out with the small stuff. And what's more small and insignificant is fantasy football when it comes to faith. It's not that much to put faith into, okay? Put the faith into it, put the work in, and trust God with even more as your faith builds, okay? Guys, we'll see you next time on Faith in Football. And remember, football's good, but God is greater. We'll see you guys next time on Faith in Football. Take care. God bless.